It's 10 trivia questions on invisible and disappearing TV characters from listener Robert Casey. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thanks for checking out my show, and thanks for leaving iTunes reviews if you dig it. Up to 343. Can we make it 350 by the end of this week? I think we can, and I would encourage you to leave an iTunes review if you can. That would be very, very cool. Also, there is a quiz going on. You can play on your smartphone or any device with a web browser. Go to crowd.live and enter the code BUDSPOD, BUDDSPOD, to get into the mix. Only 15 people have done this so far as of Monday, April 18th, and it's going to run till Saturday. And if you have the highest score of any player in the 15-question quiz at midnight on Saturday, you will get a $50 gas card from me, which I'm sure you can use if you are driving around the country or the planet, I guess. I guess I could buy you one in another country, figure out the exchange rate of $50 into a gas card, or I could just PayPal you or something. We'll figure it out. But go play that quiz, crowd.live, and enter BUDSPOD, BUDDSPOD. 15 random questions, a lot of good stuff in there, and it'll ask you a couple of questions when you sign in, and you'll be good to go. Today's quiz from Robert Casey on disappearing and invisible TV characters coming up, but before we do that, our Geek Out challenges for the day. We want you to name 6 films with a diner or malt shop scene, 2 TV characters from the Office US version, 2 titles in which the narrator dies for books, 4 bands or groups with numbers in their title, and 4 names of cell phone models. There you go. So those are your challenges, and now we're going to jump into 11 questions on TV characters. Here we go. All right, here is a quiz from Robert Casey. Robert wrote to me and said, Ryan, I've been working on this quiz for a while, and I've been working on this one for a while to try and get shows that are familiar enough for a general audience. The first 5 questions in the quiz are about characters who just disappeared without explanation. The second half is about characters who are referred to on the show but never actually seen. The question is a character name and maybe a description or hint about the show, and the correct answer is the name of the show. Feel free to use it as you like, Robert. And that's what I'm doing today. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. Here's number 1. Chuck Cunningham liked to play basketball and was played by 2 different actors in the first 2 seasons of this show, but disappeared before it jumped the shark. What was the name of this show? Number 1. Number 2, Tina Pinciotti, younger sister of Donna, and a neighbor of the Foremans a few decades ago. Tina Pinciotti, younger sister of Donna, and a neighbor of the Foremans a few decades ago. Number 3, Judy Winslow, the youngest daughter of Carl and Harriet. Number 3, Judy Winslow, the youngest daughter of Carl and Harriet. Number 4, Jonathan Turner was a teacher in this sitcom. He appeared as a regular in seasons 2 through 4, but disappeared after a motorcycle accident. He was brought back when the series was recently rebooted. Number 5, Ben Geller, son of Ross Geller. He made appearances through season 8, but just disappeared after that. All right, now the next chunk here are about invisible characters that you don't see. Number 6, Maris Crane, wife of Niles. You may not have seen her because she was described as being thin, frail, and pale. Number 7, Vera Peterson, wife of accountant in Barfly Norm. She was actually seen in one episode, but with a pie on her face. Number 8, Charlie Townsend, owner of the Townsend Agency, was typically only heard through a speakerphone. Number 9, Jenny Piccolo, friend of Joni Cunningham. And number 10, Mrs. Wallowitz was only heard yelling at her son, Howard, and his 3 friends. Bonus question here from Robert says, the Andy Griffith Show has 2 unseen characters. One was the telephone operator, who was addressed every time someone picked up a phone, as apparently direct dial had not made its Mayberry yet, and they needed an operator to connect the calls. The other character worked at the diner. Barney had a crush on her in early seasons and would sometimes ask the phone operator to connect him to this other unseen character. What are their names? The 2 characters. What are the names of the 2 characters? Those are all your questions on invisible and disappearing TV characters. We'll be right back in just a second with the answers. We are back. You had to name the TV show from the description of the character and the name of the character and what they did on the show, etc. A lot of sitcoms here. Number 1, we're kicking things off with Chuck Cunningham, who was a brother on Happy Days. Happy Days. In later seasons, Mr. Cunningham even referred to having only 2 children, Richie and Joni. So they actually just wrote out Chuck altogether. Number 2, Tina Pinciotti is the younger sister of Donna. And I feel like I'm saying that last name wrong. So if I am, I've not watched that 70s show in a long time, and I don't know Donna's last name. So if I'm screwing that up, I apologize. It says Tina appeared in only 1 episode in the first season. She was mentioned in the second season when some of the characters wondered what happened to her. The show also had a dog, Skatsy, that appeared in season 5 but disappeared before season 6. Skatsy reappeared in season 7. Number 3, Judy Winslow, the youngest daughter of Carl and Harriet, was on Family Matters. The character Judy was cut as the show began to focus more on Steve Urkel. Number 4, Jonathan Turner was a teacher in this sitcom that was Boy Meets World, and they brought him back for Girl Meets World. Number 5, Ben Geller, son of Ross Geller, is never mentioned after season 8 for 2 more whole seasons, and that was Friends. And number 6, we started the invisible characters that you maybe hear but don't see. Maris Crane, wife of Niles, was Frasier's brother, Niles, and his sister-in-law, Maris. That is Frasier. Number 7, Vera Peterson, wife of accountant and barfly Norm, was on Cheers. She had the pie in the face at one time. Number 8, Charlie Townsend is from Charlie's Angels. The voice of Charlie was played by John Forsythe in Season 2, Episode 13, Magic Fire. Bosley and Chris do a mind-reading act at the end of the show. Charlie says that he was there and gave Chris one of the objects. Watching that episode, you cannot tell it is John Forsythe, as he is only shown from the back. Number 9 was Happy Days again. In the early seasons, Jenny Piccolo was often referred to but never seen. Her character did become a regular in later seasons. Jenny, friend of Joni on Happy Days. Number 10, Mrs. Wallowitz was only heard yelling at her son Howard on The Big Bang Theory. She was played by Carol Ann Susie, and Susie died in 2014, and a small picture of her was placed on the refrigerator door of Sheldon and Leonard's apartment. And the bonus for Andy Griffith Show characters, we had Sarah, the phone operator, and Juanita, which is Barney's crush who works at the diner. So there you have it. A lot of fun television history info there for disappearing and invisible characters from Robert Casey. Thank you, Robert. And fact of today is Coca-Cola was originally green. Look it up. You might be able to find a weird picture of it. Green Coca-Cola. There you go. If you want to send me quizzes like Robert does from time to time, feel free, ryanbuds@gmail.com. And if you want to play 23 quizzes that you've never played or heard anywhere else before, go grab my digital download of Pop Culture Puzzles Volume 1. It's only $7. You could print it off, give it to whoever you want, and share it with anybody. It's on etsy.com/shop/trivia with buds, or linked in the show notes of all the episodes right at the top. Volume 1, $7. Volume 2 on the way this summer. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend, and we'll see you next time for more Trivia with Buds. Cheers!